What's good, Commanders fans? Just want to do my annual offseason 3 to 5 ways that the defense improved. I think I already did offense, but I may do it again after mini camp and all the offseason workouts have finished, since we've seen some guys that did make some improvements in the offseason. I'm not going to jump and say that we have instantly improved because we have not played any games yet, but just projecting and seeing from last year to this year. So the easiest one to go with is the secondary, and I'm gonna say different ways that we improved with that, with certain additions to the team. So I'll start with Jonathan Jones. Um, I'll start with Jonathan Jones. So Jonathan Jones, the cornerback from the Patriots, had a couple good years in the last couple of years. Last year was kind of a down year for him, but even in his down year was a better year than a lot of the corners that we had. I mean, I don't want to trash or dump on some of the guys that we had last year, but the guys that are not here this year, they just weren't good enough. They just weren't good enough. And even if Jonathan Jones, like I really like our cornerback room now. And I know I was iffy on Marshawn Lattimore because of him not showing up to OTAs, but it is what it is. He was there at minicamp and he played well. He did a good job, and I'm happy about that. He looked fluid. He was moving around. He had a pass deflection on Noah Brown, who we got some good news, some tea leaves of solid news about Noah Brown, his injury. But the point is, so you look at Jonathan Jones and his PFF numbers. I know you don't want to just go off of PFF. But he had a 60.7 PFF grade last year compared to Ben St. Juice had a 47.7. Noah I had a 45.3, but Noah I played pretty decent at times last year. Emmanuel Forbes was released. Michael Davis was really bad. I mean, like he didn't even look like an NFL cornerback out there at times. Like you look at the Falcons game, the pass that he gave it to Drake London. Then we had to bench him. He had a 43.3 overall PFF grade. He was just awful. We had to bench him against Malik Neighbors. He was so bad we just had to put Noah I back out there on to go one-on-one with Malik Neighbors. That's how bad Michael Davis was last year. And then Emmanuel Forbes was hurt, and if he was healthy, he probably wouldn't play anyway. And then Ben St. Juice was just not really good enough to stick with Malik Neighbors either. So the point is, Jonathan Jones, like, he may not even start, but I know he started in minicamp and OTAs. It was Marshawn, John Jones, and the slot was Mikey, and then off the bench was Trey Amos. But Trey Amos was the starter before Marshawn came back, and Trey Amos was balling and playing really well. But Jonathan Jones, man, he's had some really, really good, solid years, and he's a heck of a tackler too. Like, he's a willing tackler. He's a physical player. He's going to help our run game out as well. I'm not expecting a corner to come in and just change our run game, of course, but physical corners definitely help us at the edge. We had a big emphasis on our wide receivers blocking last year. And Jonathan Jones blowing up a play or blowing up a wide receiver definitely can help in the running game. All hands on deck, basically, is what I'm saying. And Jonathan Jones is a super, super, super physical player. His run defense last year was 55.2 PFF grade, but in 2023 it was a 74. 76.5 PFF grade in 2023. Coverage grade of 75.1 in 2023. If we can get the 2023 Jonathan Jones, then that would be great. And Jonathan Jones can play in the slot as well. So he brings some more versatility and positional versatility out there as well. So there's so many ways that we can rotate this defense with John. You can have a lineup with John Jones, Marshawn, Mikey, or John Jones, Trey Amos, and Mikey, or John Jones, Marshawn, and Mikey, or Trey Amos, John Jones, and Marshawn. Like, there's so many, and you can throw Noah I in there too. So our secondary is vastly, vastly, vastly improved. Like I said, it wouldn't have taken much to improve. But John Jones, let's see his takeaways. So he had 4 interceptions in 2022. Didn't have any picks in 2023. Didn't have any picks in 2024. But he definitely is an upgrade. He had 2 forced fumbles last year, though. That's what I talk about, the physicality in ball is life. Just taking the ball away any way that you can get it. Take the football away. Let's look at his advanced numbers as well. Completion percentage, 71.7 last year allowed, which is pretty darn good. 57.1 completion percentage allowed in 2023, which is pretty darn good as well. Passer rating was not good, 138.1, but a 94 passer rating allowed in 2023, which is pretty solid. So we definitely improved with bringing Jonathan Jones in. And I'll look at Ben St. Juice's completion percentage. And so his pass rating allowed was 102.2. His completion percentage allowed was 61.4, which is actually not terrible. But we definitely improved there. And we got faster, too, with John Jones. John Jones ran a 4.3 40-yard dash coming out of college. Now, I get it. It's been 8 years now he's been in the league. So I know it's a few years removed. So he's 31 right now. He's been in the league for 9 seasons. Goodness gracious. But he still has that speed to his game. Not as fast, probably not a 4.3 40-yard dash or 4.4 40-yard dash that he had coming out of college. But he does bring some speed and instincts and physicality and positional flexibility there. And he's just more talented than the guys that we had last season. Second, Trey Amos, man. Can't speak enough about Trey Amos. I know he has not touched the field in a game yet. But even Joe Witt Jr. said he's ahead of the curve. All the beat reporters, all the media members have just talked about how sticky he is in coverage. He was locking up Deebo Samuel. I know there's not much, and I get his practice, but he had an interception on Michael Gallup. Like, he had pass breakups on Michael Gallup already, who's been in the league for years and years and years. Playing with the ones. This guy's going to play a lot this year, and he's going to start some games too. Marshawn Lattimore talked about how good Trey Amos is as well. Just the physicality, the size, the speed, the toughness. He fits what we really are looking for at the quarterback spot out of Ole Miss. 85.6 overall PFF grade last year, Ole Miss. 85.6 coverage grade. He's a guy that I feel like he can really match up with guys like A.J. Brown. Not a lot of guys like A.J. Brown in the league, but he's a guy that can physically match up. We had corners in the past that just could not physically match up with A.J. Brown. They just couldn't. 13 forced incompletions last year, 54.5 passer rating allowed, 4.43 40-yard dash. 10 pass breakups in the senior year and 51% completion percentage allowed as well. And then everybody loves his aura. Everybody loves his swag. I'm not too big into the aura stuff and the swag and all that stuff. But if you have it, you got it, you know. And I think he's going to bring that energy and that confidence and that trash talking that I see already in practice in that Ole Miss last year. I love the swag that he brings. So that's two ways that we improved. Third for me is I would say bringing in Will Harris. And it's kind of like, so if you want to compare him to Jeremy Chin, they both are good players. So it's hard to say that we got better bringing Will Harris, and Will Harris is cheaper. There's some things that Jeremy Chin is better at than Will Harris, and there's some things that Will Harris is better at. So I did bring up the comparison. So Will Harris played corner coming out of college. He played corner for the Lions, and he transitioned into safety. So that in itself, he's been playing in the slot, playing a corner in some of the practices from what I've heard. So he brings that positional versatility. I think he's better in coverage than Jeremy Chin. That's one thing that I will say that Will Harris is better at than Jeremy Chin. Jeremy Chin, he did get beat by that wheel route a couple times last year. So Will Harris had a 79.4 quarterback rating allowed, which is pretty good, and a 65.9 completion percentage allowed last year, which is pretty good as well compared to Jeremy Chin, who gave up 131.2 quarterback rating allowed, which is pretty awful. 73.6 completion percentage allowed, which is solid by Jeremy Chin. Now, Jeremy Chin tackling is a tough one. Who's the better tackler? I think Will Harris at times is the better tackler. Jeremy Chin struggled with tackling last year. But their missed tackle percentage, Jeremy Chin had a 5.6, which is pretty good. And then Will Harris had a 10.8 missed tackle percentage last year, which is not great. So he does need to improve with that. But I will say in a sense that we improve with, once again, versatility, where we have a guy who can play safety and corner, where you can mix and match coverages. You can have Will Harris play the linebacker spot as that star role. You can have him play matchup with tight ends. You can have him match up with receivers like he was already in practice so far. So those are the things where I think he's going to be better in coverage, where he's sticking better with guys and running with guys better in coverage, where we did see Jeremy Chin get beat by wheel routes at times and beat by tight ends in coverage at times, where I think Will Harris will be better in coverage against receivers and different players like that. So that's where I think we did improve in that. But like I said, I did like Jeremy Chin last year. I thought he played better in the second half of the year. But I think, just like I said, with coverage, I think Will Harris will be better in coverage than Jeremy Chin. So that's where I think we get the advantage there. All right. So defensive line. Let's talk about Javon Kinlaw, and we'll talk about Dietrich Wise and all the guys, Jacob Martin. I think we're just going to be better disciplined. I think we do have the guys who have the tools to be better in the run game. But I can't sit up here and say, you know, Javon Kinlaw is better than Jonathan Allen. You know, Jonathan Allen, best wishes and all that stuff. But who's a better player? Probably Jonathan Allen. But who do I think can be better in slowing down the run game this year? Javon Kinlaw. I think they have a legitimate, they do have a legitimate plan for Javon Kinlaw. Javon Kinlaw has been inconsistent in his career. Injuries derailed his career. Don't want to call him a bust or anything like that, but of course the Niners did not bring him back after drafting him in the first round. They let him walk. Then he went to the Jets. He had a solid year there last year. Not a great year, but a solid year. Nothing to really write home about. But they have a plan to use him as an elephant in. And they talk about how much space he takes up, and he's just a big human being. And I think that really will help out our run game for sure. Then you got guys like Dietrich Wise who are just more disciplined in the run game at defensive end. Jacob Martin, who's just more disciplined in the run game, is setting an edge where Dante Fowler struggled at that last year. Dante Fowler did a good job getting pressure on the quarterback, but as far as setting an edge and slowing down the run game, I think we got guys who are more tailored to slowing down the run game. You look at Eddie Goldman too. Now Eddie Goldman, yes, he retired, but there's some things that he did do well in his career. Now 2018, I guess a long time ago, he had a 90.0 run defense grade. If we can get the Eddie Goldman from 2018 and from 2019, he had a 69.7 run defense grade as well. Just that depth behind Javon Kinlaw, that depth behind Johnny Newton, Jerzon Newton. So those guys rotating in can slow down the run game. His pass rush grade in 2019 was 67.1 grade as well. Now, 2024, 2021, he struggled a little bit. Like I said, he was in and out of the league. So that's the wrap on Eddie Goldman. And then Jacob Martin had a pass rush grade of 67 pass rush grade last year and a 71.5 pass rush grade in 2023. Jacob Martin could be that guy who could be that sneaky pass rusher who ends up getting like 6 or 7 sacks or something like that. I really think Jacob Martin could be that sneaky guy. And then Dietrich Wise has been a captain for the Patriots. You know, he was a captain for the Patriots. So Jacob Martin, the most sacks in his career that he got was 4. And I really think in this offense, this defense, in this role, I feel like he can be like a sneaky rotational pass rusher that can fool around and get like 6 sacks in the season. Or Dorrance can step up and do that. But I think we got more disciplined guys who are going to play within the scheme and eat up space and help slow down the run game for sure. So those are my improvements. The secondary clearly improved. But there still are, I still have to see it to believe it with the run defense. I know the coaches talk about it. We got bigger guys and all that stuff like that. But I still have to see it to believe it. I still feel like they need to add one more pass rusher, whether it's Von Miller, Zadarius Smith, or Jadeveon Clowney. But they believe in the guys that they have in the building. And that's fine if they believe in that. They have a plan for these guys, scheming up blitzes and scheming up pressure, stuff like that. Frankie Louvu is like a pass rusher as well. And then lastly, I want to say a healthy Jordan McGee. A healthy Jordan McGee coming back. Yes, he did play some of the games last year, but he was more special teams. It was kind of late for him to get him acclimated in the middle of the season. But I think a healthy Jordan McGee coming in where he can be that third linebacker. We didn't play a lot of 3 linebacker sets. We were the team that I think we played the most 2 linebacker sets or the least amount of 3 linebacker sets out there. And Joe Witt Jr. talked about that in this press conference. Adding Jordan McGee can help that and improve us slowing down the run game. Another speedy linebacker out there because Bobby Wagner, he's on the last chapter of his career, just not a lot of speed there. Frankie Louvu was pretty quick, but just having another speedy linebacker that can be a thumper and bring the physicality like another Dre Green like Adam Peters just had a factor of drafting linebackers in the middle rounds. Jordan McGee could possibly be that guy for Adam Peters. So I'm excited to see what Jordan McGee brings to the team this year. A fully healthy offseason, knock on wood for sure. So Will Harris, Trey Amos, John Jones, Jordan McGee coming back healthy, and there's some of the defensive line additions where I do think we do have some concerns about the defensive line, but I do like the upgrades that we made at the cornerback position. Let me make sure I'm not forgetting anybody as well. Draft picks, I do like Kane Madrano coming in with the speed and just his knack of taking the football away as well. We're talking about Will Harris, Dietrich Wise, Javon Kinlaw, John Jones. And then TJM, if he does make the roster. He probably won't make the roster, but TJM to stop that tush push. The rugby player, if he does make the team some way, somehow, which I doubt he does. But let's see if he does some way, somehow. And then Trey Amos is going to be a dog this year. So those are some of the ways that I feel like we improved this whole season defensively. Like I said, there's still some question marks. A lot of people have us projected to be a bottom team in the league. I don't think so. It is a tough quarterback schedule as well. But I think Trey Amos being locked down, a healthy Marshawn Lattimore being locked down, Mikey Sanders still in the slot being locked down, Jonathan Jones coming off the bench and rotating off the bench, being locked down, and Noah I being in his rightful role as the 5th cornerback as well should definitely help. And then Jordan McGee as that 3rd linebacker should help as well in certain situations, rotating with Bobby Wagner and Frankie Louvu or coming off the bench. And then Javon Kinlaw is that elephant end. Eddie Goldman as well, eating up space. Johnny Newton taking the leap. Dietrich Wise being disciplined and setting the edge. Same thing with Jacob Martin as well, Dorrance Armstrong. Cleveland Farrell has had a good offseason as well. So you guys let me know what you guys think about the defense. I think we can improve. You see Dan Quinn defenses have improved. When he came to Dallas, they improved drastically, but we have to slow down to run this game. But I do think the secondary will definitely help a lot this year. So all right, you guys let me know what you guys think. As always, healthy matters. Peace.